Hello guys and welcome back to another deck with my video here on my YouTube channel. My name is Abra and we got a special guest today. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Niklas, also known as Gamma or R in the app, the right angle. I played Smoker in the regional in Mülheim last weekend and got top 16.
Top 16, good job in Mülheim. It was the noHEROES regional and Niklas performed very well. I was one of the guys who told him, believe to yourself, believe to this deck, because you started playing this deck since OP10 and there's one card you always want to play around and it is
8-cost kit.
8-cost kit, exactly.
Boy.
Back in the days, my first game on stream was against you. I was playing Doffy, you was playing Kit, and it was a nightmare for me. I won that match, I remember that, but it was so close. And 8-cost Kit, one of the best cards in the game. And your favorite card, that's
Yes, by far.
one reason why you decided to play Smoker, but we will come to that later. Let's start with the deck.
Okay, for the first part, the obvious stuff that everyone is playing. So for Virgo, for obviously searching your punk hazard stuff. Then the first blocker, 2-cast Rosinante. Also, if you play a kit deck, this is one of the best parts, but everybody knows it, I guess. Then the Sanji's pretty important in like most matchups. The best part about this card, in my opinion, is not even the plus 3k, but your opponent is afraid of this card and runs over it. And in a kit deck, you want every card you can get. So the draw on KO is like by far the best effect, in my opinion. And the pressure is also very good, but the draw is very, very nice. Then the Tashigis, also pretty standard. For choppers, I was thinking about cutting down choppers, but after talking with some guys, this card is also very important in the Teach matchup and partly in the Shanks matchup too, because I can say that later. But in most matchups, I want to go second with this deck and not first, especially like against Shanks or Blackbeard, because you can drop this on either 4 or later on 6 with the Smoker in conjunction, and you have a blocker on board for Kit that's not KO'able by like backline and stuff. And if Blackbeard wants to KO this, they need to invest some cards, and this is also a free 5k swing every time, and they can't run over it because it's a 7k in the opponent's turn. So applies pressure and together with Kit, a very good blocker in the first or early turns. And of course for Smoker, nothing to say there, like the best card in the deck.
Yeah.
Then 3 Holy Jones. And at some point I was playing 4 because I'm playing a not special event, but one of the one-drop events, the Radical Beam. I come to that later. And I want to use this card very, very aggressively. So I can talk about it with Radical Beam later, but mainly you want to take the first lives and kind of bait your opponent into making a very bad turn, very bad decision, with like dropping this on 7 or on 8, dropping down to 1, sometimes even 0 life, and your opponent thinks they can kill you, and then you have like all the counter events in the world and stabilize after that when they use all their dawn to attack, basically. And then my favorite card, like the best part in the deck, he forsaken me a little bit in top 16 because I either didn't draw him or draw like 3 or 4 of him. But yeah, this is the center point of the deck. My whole gameplay or playstyle with this deck is I take nearly every life. Like against Shanks, I take every attack except like 1 attack in the first 2-3 turns, and then you're loaded on hand cards. The only card that fucks you over is Pudding, but only Blue can play that. And you just sit on him, and I have some crazy games where I countered like, I don't know, 20k attacks on him in like 1 turn, and then killed on the pole in the following turn. And then for the like standard events, 2 of the Igloo. Was also playing more of this at one point because I think it's just too broken. When I played the Dofi Pirates, I played like 3 or 4 of this because you can also search this one with Baby 5. And this one makes it very awkward for like multiple attackers like the 9-cost Zoro and stuff because you can shrink them. But only 2 because I'm playing a lot of other events, and yeah, I think like if you draw too many events, it's a bit too bricky, and I have so many other events. Yeah, this is the normal stuff. Now for a little bit more spicy stuff. The first card is not that spicy, but I want to include it in this part because I playing 2 Otama. At some point I was playing like 3-4 Otamas and cut down on the chopper, but he's too important and he's searchable and too important in the matchups I mentioned before, like Blackbeard and Shanks. But I'm playing Otama because I'm playing 3 Mulligan, and I come to that later, but I think it's too good together to not play this one. Then for other mid-game stuff, 3 Carrots. I think she's not that spicy, like the OCG played it also in Smoker before, but together with Bonnie, and I think I'll put in here 2 Electrical Luna.
That's spicy.
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of freeze cards because like matchups like Doflamingo or even Purple Luffy are sometimes too aggressive. Even Zoro, I think Zoro is one of the toughest matchups if they high roll in the early game, because sometimes you don't even get to 8-cost kids before you die. So I'm playing this to freeze all the stuff, and especially Bonnie was very good against Shanks as well, because you can either freeze a Don so they can't play the 10 drop if you're afraid of this, or sometimes if you're on 0 life you can even freeze the Don if you're afraid of Roger. And also on some crucial turns, if you go first, for example, and you're on 7 Don, I always wanted to drop this to freeze a Don so they can't play Rayleigh and get back into the game, because I think Rayleigh is the strongest card in Shanks, because they stabilize with it, and they can also shrink your kit. So this for that. And I wanted to play more Lunas because I think it's too good in like Purple Luffy, sometimes also against Shanks, because many people were playing the Rush Shanks variant with the Straw Hats, and this one, if they drop like back to back the Rush Shanks or the Rush Luffys, this one is also very good if you need to start multiple targets and you don't have the carrots. But I decided against that and played like 3-3 of this because they have counter and you're a kit deck, so you don't want to have too many non-bricks. And one of the parts about, for example, Luna, if you have Smoker on board and or in the late game, this is always a free card. You always get the 3 Don back, so you're basically playing with 13 Don, and so you can mostly play this for free against all the aggro matchups. And then, I told it before, I'm very event heavy, so I'm playing 1-0 cost event. If you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It's not that important, but sometimes if you have it, you play a lot of bricks, or not that many bricks, but too many bricks for my liking. So one of this comes in clutch a lot of the times. And then, for the 1 cost events, 3 Radical Beam. I wanted to play 4 of this because, like I mentioned before with Hody, most of the time you want to play very aggro if you go first, very aggro in the early stages, and if you have 1 or 2 Radical Beams, you can never die on 1 life, or sometimes even on 0 life if your opponent is at 8 Don and has no board. So against like stuff like Lucio, something you can drop this, run into the Rebecca, the Kuzan, everything they drop. Sometimes they think they can kill you. You just drop this together with the Igloo, because if you have Smoker from a previous turn, you always get the 3 Don back for like the combination of these 2. Or even 2 or 3 of these. So you always live, and especially if you have the kit on board, and even if you're on 0 life, you can counter out so much with this. Like in the last round, I played against Purple Luffy. He gamma knifed my 8-cost kit to 3k, and then swung 10, 10, and 7 into this, and I just countered it out with I think 1 of this, 2 of this, and then 2k counters from the hand, and just won the game from there. So this is one of my favorite cards, but also 4 is maybe a bit too much. You want to have your characters too, so only 3. And then also 3 Mulgans. For the longest time I was not playing this because I thought one of your matchups like Shanks, this card does not do too much against Shanks, because the things that are annoying are Dragon and Rayleigh, and you can't instantly KO them with this. But after some like more testing, you don't need to KO the cards with this. It's enough if you can like give them the -5 and then run over them. I also cleared the 10 cost shanks with this because I had Kit on board. They thought they could kill the Kit, and then I just shrink the shanks, run over it, and won the game from there. And also, I don't want to rely on triggers, but with this, you have like 11 trigger cards that can come up in the late game, and for a big event, and even in one piece especially, the game is not that consistent yet. Like some decks are, like Blackbeard and the new green purple Luffy, but if you can get an edge with a late game clutch trigger, for example, the +1k comes up for character or leader. And the Mulgun also as well.
Mulgun is a crazy trigger.
Yeah, it's a crazy trigger, better Jazz Pistol.
Yeah. Also, this one is very underrated.
Yeah, this one is, especially you can just maybe rest any rush unit, or this one a 4-cost blocker or something like that. So I don't want to rely on that, but 11 triggers also helps if you see them.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of them in the tournament as a last live, but they can come up.
Okay, very cool deck list. Let's talk about your matchups, and then I got some questions for you.
Yeah, for the matchups, in total I played against 2 Blackbeard, won both of them, one against 1 Yellow Kid. I played against 2 Purple Luffy, also won both. In one of the matchups I told you I counted out a lot versus Gamma Knife, and in the other matchup I just had back-to-back Carrot for his
best card against
for his 5-cost blocker Kid and Zorjuro, so they never restanded, and then he played the 9-cost Luffy, got rested with Bonnie again. Like he had no characters to play with. One matchup was Red Purple Luffy. Typical Hody, rest some dons, they can't Gum Giant and win from there. And I played against 2 Shanks. I won against one and lost against the other one in round 4, and that one was the same Shanks I played in top 16 again. Top 16 went a lot better, but I didn't see the 8-cost kit in top 16, so the first 2 matches I played without 8-cost kit. Won the first one, lost the second one against Lime Juice because my Rosing couldn't do shit. And in the last game I saw 3 of them in live, and like the playstyle I do with this deck, like I told before, is I take nearly every life. So the first 3-4 swings, I take all of them, because one of the things in this game is the game is not that consistent. So I want to take, especially with Kit, all the lives I can get. So I need what cards I'm working with. So if you take all the lives and you draw for turn, you have like 13 or 14 cards, I think, by the 7 or 8 dawn turn that you have in your hand or you used already, so you know what you're working with. And you can decide from there if you need to play more blocker heavy, for example against the Yellow Kid. I was on turn 3, I think I was down to 0 life and didn't see Kid, so I needed to play with the blockers and the events, and that carried. And against some matchups, if you see the Kid on your first life and you know you have the counter power, you can then act accordingly and either take more life or play aggro with Hody and take life in that way. So that's why I nearly take every life, but you're playing on edge then. You need to make no mistakes and counter. Don't want to say perfectly, but you need to plan ahead what you have for the next turns and what you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I love about Smoker, that you have to think a lot. You're not allowed to do misplays. It's the same for every deck, but especially for a deck like Smoker.
Yeah, for Life Leader.
Yeah, for Life Leader, exactly. And I think this deck fits very good to you because of the playstyle with Age of Kid. You just love that card
it's my
so much.
favorite playstyle. Just take the life, play the resource game. For my liking, there are too few searches in this game. I want to play Bonnie, I want to play Baby 5 to always search, but you have not enough targets.
Yeah,
but
true.
That's one of the other things I love about this leader. You're basically a toolbox deck, so according to the meta, you can change the events for, other characters. You can play more of these or less of these, play other red or green events. There's one, I think one chopper event that boosts the character or leader by 3k for the whole turn. it's a 3-cost event, but for this meta it was too much of an investment. I think next meta, if the smoker always sticks on board, I think you can play that because you always have the 3 Don.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I like about the deck, that you have so much Don to work with. It reminds me of the red-green law, where you have so many plays,
Yeah,
so many things you can do. And yeah, what's cool about this leader is it feels a little bit with the events like the green-purple Doflamingo that restands 2 at the end. But the cool thing is you don't need to use the 2 Dons for events. You can either swing with them or use them for events. You have the flexibility to do whatever you want, basically.
So my next question would be, would you change anything for EBO2? Green Purple Luffy is coming next week, and I think a lot of Smoker player maybe try some new cards to maybe get some spice against Green Purple, because we tested the matchup today, and I have the feeling if you just play normally and you have that kit, and I don't have Gamma Knife because I was playing Gamma Knife, I have no chance, because everyone that plays Luffy decks know that kit is so annoying for Luffy decks. I don't know why, but Hody, because you cannot play around him, you always want to have a Dawn for the Gungun Giant. Hody is the answer for it. Kit is the answer against everything. We have so many good cards against Green Purple Luffy or against Luffy decks in general, but would you change anything there maybe for EBO2?
So for EBO2, I think I wouldn't really change anything, like maybe some of the ratios, but like you mentioned, Carrot is very good against the matchup because you can freeze the Sorojuros, the Sanji Puddings in the early game. Late game you can always use Electrical Luna if they use many attackers.
This card from EBO2 beginning, we will see a lot of decks playing.
Yeah, I think I would play maybe 3 of this and cut one of the Bonnies if many people are playing the EBO2 Luffy, the green-purple one. But also this one, you can think about playing a 3rd one of this, because if you're afraid of the restand Luffy, this one is also very good against the restand Luffy because you give the minus 2k for the whole turn, so the restanding is not very efficient in that one. Also, Morgan just KOs the Sanji Pudding. If you kill the first one with this, it's, I think, very hard for the green-purple player to stabilize from there. And one of the things I like the most too, I know it's very, very disgusting to play against it, but back in OP10, Katakuri was my most hated matchup by far because of 10-drop Mom and the triggers, and I built a green kit version where I played 3 or 4 of the double attack Banish Yamato, and my game plan was against Katakuri, never swing live at all, don't run into any trigger, just stabilize with 8-cost kit and blockers because Kata had no outs to the blockers, and then establish a Banish character and just swing with Banish into life until they are in KO range, and it works all the time. And with this one, Green Purple has no out to the Smoker basically, and you can always threaten the life attack with Smoker, and if they don't take it and use their counter power, just go for board until you stabilize. And I think if you have like a mediocre to good hand, I think it's a very favorable or good matchup into.
Yeah, I would agree. So Green Purple don't have that much bad matchups. One of them is clearly Lucci, but in my opinion, decks that can play with 8-cost kit, and also decks that have good cards like Cavendish for Bonnie, or for your deck Smoker and the lead ability that gives you Don back. It's so dangerous because you can play Kit on curve and you still have Dons to do something with him. That's the scariest thing. So you don't need a 10 Don setup for Kit. You can just use your 8 Don setup, because if you have this on board and your lead ability, you have Kit and 3 Dons left, 1 for Kit ability and then 2 for maybe a blocker, maybe event. Yeah, we see the Radical and we also see this one. This is crazy card in my opinion. So yeah, very good. So I think Smoker should be in a good position against, or for the meta especially, even for OP11 with new support. We will have a Navy Searcher, you get some new cards. I think Smoker is still in a very good position, so everyone that is playing Smoker, You can still play him for OP11, OP12. We know the leaders, but we have to wait a lot until OP12. But for now, EBO2 and OP11, I think Smoker is really good. So I think this will be your main deck also for the next set.
And like you also said, until the day this card is not around anymore, for tournaments I'm going to pivot into kit decks. Yeah, into kit
The
decks
one.
for the whole time.
Yeah.
I hope they reprint him in 2026, but we'll see. But until then, I think I will still play this because, like I mentioned before, the toolbox aspect. I think you can always find a list, or I mean, at least an approach that works or kind of works against the meta.
Yeah.
With the blue-purple, we need to see, maybe you need to play more of this and less of this to freeze some dons and make some shenanigans against that. But yeah, I like the flexibility about this deck, and with the new navy cards, I think you can play even more aggro and defensive with all the minusing from the power and plussing from the power from the searches and stuff. So we'll see, but I think it's a very good deck going into the next two.
It is. And you know what I love the most about this color combination? That red and green is back in the game.
Yeah.
Because we played like 3 or 4 sets only with black being the best color in the game. And now Lucci is still alive. Lucci is still very good. But yeah, green and red are back. So that brings me to the next question. What is your toughest matchup in your opinion? What do you think?
Toughest matchup?
From now, EBO2 and yeah, from OP1 to EBO2.
I mean, it always depends on what you're seeing in the games and what you're not seeing. For example, matchups like Lucci and stuff are, from my experience, pretty easy if you have like one of these two, because you have against Lucci one card that saves your kit is enough. You don't need multiples. Like decks like Wassup are kind of tough if they go first and see everything, because they can remove the Tashigi and all your other like blockers or the 5 cost. They can shoot one, bounce the other one, and it gets pretty tough. But if they aren't playing Red Rock, and I think most of the Wassup lists aren't playing Red Rock at the moment, I think Kit is always enough against these decks. So it depends how fast they are, but I think the matchup is most of the time easy if they don't see everything. I think I'm not sure against blue-purple Luffy, because I haven't tested the matchup that much yet. But I think one of the toughest matchups is actually Dofi, if they go first and if they are playing Pudding. Like last locals when we played, I got super clapped because my life was not that good. I needed to take all the life. I couldn't even counter in the early games, in the early turns, and when I had the 8 drop and wanted to drop it, I got a pudding and got puddinged, and my hand was unplayable after that. I think you need to take the gamble and just pray that they don't have pudding or don't play pudding. Then you're pretty good against that deck, because if you have the Tashigi, they need law into Red Rock to out it. And even then, if you with this list, if you can buy 1-2 turns, the Carrot and the Electric Luna can carry. But I think if they high roll you, it's a very very bad matchup. And Shanks, I'm a little bit indifferent about Shanks, because when we tested the going second matchup with this deck, most of the people want to go first with Smoker, but with this list, especially if you drop on 6 Don the Smoker into Chopper, and then on 8, like you said, if the Smoker, they have nothing on 7 or lower from except Divine Departure, they have nothing to get rid of this. And if you then can play 8 cost kit on curve, get the Don back, and have Don for 8 cost kit, and 1 or 2 blockers, or even an event card, I think the matchup is very very good. And one of the things about Shanks is that Shanks, in my opinion, bricks a lot harder than this deck bricks.
For sure.
A lot of the other decks bricks. So against Shanks, if you go second, I think it's pretty manageable. If they high roll you and have everything, or if you don't see like your crucial pieces, you're gonna lose that matchup. But I think that's always the thing with Shanks.
True.
So I'm not quite sure. I don't think this deck has a very bad matchup in my
Yeah, it doesn't
opinion.
have it.
You need to play. You need to know all the matchups and play accordingly. Like the same thing with Blackbeard. You know the opponent's deck. You need to know the opponent's deck better than your deck sometimes to know if you can live with the event cards or if you need to drop 8-cost kit or what you need to play around. What are the threats of your opponent's deck? And if you know that, I think you can manage against most decks pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree.
Pretty well.
All right, guys, if you get some questions, write it in the comment section. You have the last words. You can give a shout out now if you want.
Shout outs to all the guys from Mönchengladbach here. Shout outs to you for testing the night before top 16. Going second was definitely the way, but like I said, this boy let me down in the top 16. Unfortunately, but he was there the whole day before, so. No worries there.
Yes, sir.
And then shout outs to Mönchengladbach, to Heroes in locals.
Yes, sir.
Pretty good locals, pretty good community all over here. So
Okay, guys. So, like I said, if you have any questions, well, in the comment section, leave a like, leave a follow, and see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.